Welcome to the Intuitive Therapist Podcast with Janis R. Cohen, therapist, clairvoyant, empath, and medium. Listen in as she takes a no-nonsense deep dive into real human struggles and how to resolve them. Janis will share channeled information from her spirit guide team, as well as the angels and archangels, to help you master your emotional, physical, financial, and spiritual destiny. And now, Janis R. Cohen. Hey y'all, this is Janis Cohen, the Intuitive Therapist here on the Intuitive Therapist Podcast. So today we're diving into the transformative power of your 2025 mantra. And I don't say that lightly because when you hear what I'm about to explain to you, you'll understand that this isn't some willy-nilly mantra. And I'm going to help you understand what it is, of course, learn how to apply it, get rid of any blocks that would prevent you from fully believing, and then moving forward in 2025 with this mantra. So if you've ever felt stuck this year, if you've doubted your path or struggled to trust the process, this episode is for you. And by the end of our time together, like I said, you're going to know the divine mantra. You're going to have 3 powerful questions to reflect on. They're going to help you kind of clear out the weeds, and 3 actionable strategies to align with this mantra. So let's dive in. So this mantra is rooted in the belief that the universe or life itself is conspiring in your favor, even when it doesn't feel like it. And it's not about toxic positivity or ignoring challenges. It's about radical acceptance and choosing to see opportunities in everything. And that's how I've come to live my life. And it's been an amazing shift and switch because I no longer feel like when crappy things happen or I feel disappointed, I don't feel like the world's against me. It's like, oh, I wonder how I can look at this to learn something from it. So the mantra is, and you can write this down, but I'm going to repeat it over and over again today. It's everything is always working out for me. Now, you want to write this down? I highly suggest that you do. I have it everywhere, and I look at it, and I say it, and I feel it, and I believe it. Put it on sticky notes everywhere, in your car, your bathroom, on your desk, your alarm clock, your phone, your computer, everywhere. And say it to yourself as often as possible, because the more you understand that the universe is always conspiring in your favor, even when the bad things happen, or you feel disappointed, then you're more easily able to allow the mantra to be a living, breathing truth for you. So why is this mantra so powerful? Well, it allows us to reframe struggles as stepping stones, right? As learning moments, and align with the truth of our resilience and inner power. And that's one thing that I really, as a therapist, pride myself in helping my clients do, is reframe things, see how to use them, and then move forward. So let's talk about some of the biggest blocks that typically hold people back from believing this mantra. Because you could try on any mantra from anybody else that says, oh, this has worked for me, wonders. And you're like, it's not worked at all. Mantras don't work. Well, mantras work when you put the energy, your belief energy behind it. And when you just think it versus really knowing that it's true for you, then it doesn't land, right? So the first block that holds people back is the fear of the unknown. And it's hard to trust that things are going to work out when you can't see how, when we don't know what's going to happen. And when you've wanted a particular result that didn't happen, you're kind of like, well, this crap doesn't work, right? So we often believe that the world is working against us when what we want doesn't occur. And that's a false belief to have. The universe is always working on our behalf to help us shift, adjust, and take actions that lead us to our ultimate selves. Everybody fears the unknown, so you aren't special in that aspect if you think you are. We are presented with the unknown because if we knew everything that was going to happen, we'd do whatever we could to avoid change, to avoid pain and discomfort, right? I know I would. So our lives are designed to not know what's ahead so that the power of the experience can transform us if we choose to allow it to. But when you accept the uncertainty as a universal truth, because it is, there's always uncertainty, that, it's always going to exist, then you can lean into remaining present, taking aligned action, and then the uncertainty and the unknown, it's not going to feel so threatening and worrisome because you already know it's there. You don't resist it, right? That's the acceptance piece. Now, the second block is about negative conditioning. And many of us were raised to focus on worst case scenarios as a way to protect ourselves, right? But it's almost like if you focus on the worst case scenario, we know when it comes to manifestation, like attracts like. And we don't want to attract what we don't want. So if that's you, how's that worked for you so far? Right? You could focus on it versus being aware of all of your options. That's the difference. And a while back, I recorded an episode called the WCS, and I'd highly encourage you to listen to it. It focuses solely on how empowering it is to look at the worst case scenario among all the other possibilities, because we fear it, right? So just look at it, make it known consciously to yourself. And if you're a true spiritual seeker, you're going to, work to accept that not knowing something or not knowing how something will turn out, it's not equivalent to a negative outcome. That's your ego, right? It's freaking you out. The meaning of an outcome is determined by you. So what I might assume is good, you might feel is awful, right? And you can either become motivated by an outcome or immobilized by it. And you can condition yourself to believe anything. That's the cool thing, right? Now, the third block is what I call lack of evidence. And if past experiences, existed where you felt let down and where you felt like the world is not on your side, you could choose to feel that this is proof that life isn't fair, right? Or you could decide to accept that the universe is always on my side and that everything is always working out for me, and understand that disappointment and not getting what you want, but getting what you need is part of being a human. And that we have to experience this part of life, the downside of life, to learn and grow. And again, if you find that it's challenging to expect better, I want you to lean into your limiting beliefs. I want you to check them out, because something's underneath there that says, I can't want better. There's a reason why I can't have the dream life that I want. So only you know what that belief is. And as I mentioned before, you can condition yourself towards anything. If you look for evidence that supports anything, you're going to find it, right? So why not look for evidence that everything is always working out for you? Loosen the reins of control and let the universe show you the way, step by step. Your definition of evidence may be entirely different than the universe's definition of evidence. I want you to think about that one. So nothing in life is working against you. It's all provoking you to look at yourself, right? So difficulties in believing that all is working out for you, it really stems from you not really understanding how the universe works. And when you finally understand how the universe works, which means that everything is divinely structured and divinely timed, and that's always at play, you're not going to question what happens, right? You're going to know that it has a purpose for you. You may not know what that purpose is in the moment, but you will eventually, if you allow it to show itself. And you'll simply shift into allowing yourself to uncover that purpose and decide to learn from it and let go of what no longer serves you. That's the best way to be in life. Knowing that everything is always working out for you, that either immediately or in time, you're going to figure out what's going on, that it's showing up, and then you're going to be able to use it. It's phenomenal strategy. And the good news, these blocks, they're not permanent, y'all. They're beliefs and they're patterns you can shift. Now, I always, you know me, I'm a question lady. Love provocative questions, and I always pose them to you. So I came up with 3 powerful ones I wanted to share with you. And you might want to get your pen and paper out and write these down and do them over time. So, first question is, what's the worst thing that could happen if I fully trusted this mantra, right? The mantra of everything is always working out for me. Now, when I say it, that sounds very certain, doesn't it? Everything is always working out for me. I know it is. I may not like it all, but I know it is. Reflect on what comes up for you. Often the fear of disappointment keeps us from surrendering. And if you tend to see things negatively, attempting to incorporate this mantra into your life, well, it's going to feel fake and phony, and you won't believe it, and it won't stick. However, if you allow yourself to believe that everything that happens in your life is for the sole purpose of helping you grow, then anything that happens will feel in alignment with your personal growth and life path, right? Now, the second question is this: when have things unexpectedly worked out for me in the past? Right? Because let me tell you, you're not a human being with all negative experiences. So I want you to write down examples to remind yourself that life's twists and turns, they often lead to blessings. And like I said, here's the truth. In every single human being's life, things have seemed to work out in one way or another, in a small way or a big way. Now, no life is riddled with constant negativity. While some people may see their lives in that way, it's not true. Perception is everything. Yes, bad things can happen. And it's all also kind of sprinkled in with things working out. Someone could have been kind enough to open a door for you, but if you're embroiled in your negativity, you're not going to even notice that because you're so focused on life being so shitty. Or maybe they offered to have you step in front of them in line, or paid something forward and bought you breakfast or coffee. Surprisingly, you may have found money on the ground or the right best perfect parking space going to the mall when you were in a rush. Or a friend may have called you in the exact moment that you needed. These things are the gold in life, right? Gold with a D. I could come up, I'm telling you, with a million examples, but the bottom line is how you choose to see what happens to you, right? How you choose to see it determines how you continue to experience the world. Perception is everything. And if, you change the way you look at life, the way you experience life changes. So take some time and write down when you've been unexpectedly surprised that things have worked out for you. The third question: how would I show up differently if I knew everything was working out for me? Now, I love this kind of question because it future paces you, and it puts you in touch with that future self that already exists, because we know in quantum physics, right, there are a million, infinite number of parallel realities based on the choices that you make. So that version of you that where everything is always working out for you exists, and that version of you that has that certainty of that already exists. All you have to do is energetically tap into that version. Imagine the choices, the confidence, the calmness this belief would create for you. And when I think about this, I feel a sense of peace and calm come over me because I can connect to that version. And to me, doing this means that I have a positive expectation that all is going to continue to work out for me, ultimately. And when I do that, I release the pressure to try and control everything, settling into my faith that greater forces, they're always at work on my behalf, even and especially when bad situations come to an end, right? I know they're bad. This has been a history of mine, right? I know they're bad. You know they're bad. And then all of a sudden they come to an end. It's like, whew, thank goodness. And I'm given the opportunity to grow, and so are you, by learning about yourself more and changing how you interact with your life. So how would you show up differently if you knew everything was working out for you? It's a pretty cool question. Now, I came up with a couple of strategies where you can better align with the mantra that everything is always working out for you. So try a few, all, some, and see how they land. The first one is daily affirmations with feeling. Now, if you are in a space where you feel like your life sucks and you just can't get your energy up, this is going to be a little bit difficult for you. I've experienced that in my life where when my energy is off or my energy is low and I'm maybe tired or I just feel so discouraged, it's very hard to get my vibration up, the energy, the feeling of it to match the affirmation. But I want to give you this strategy. So start your day by saying the mantra out loud. Get up, stretch in the morning right after you get out of bed and go, everything is always working out for me. Place your hand on your heart and feel it. Even if your mind is going, you are so full of it, nothing's working out. You go, no, everything's always working out for me, right? I woke up. Oh my God, that's the biggest gift. That worked out, right? So repeat it like you mean it. Everything is always working out for me. Oh my God, look, it's always working out for me. It always works out for me. Say it slowly as you breathe in and out and feel your body anchor into that. And when and if you find your mind fighting you on this, like I said, take a look at the beliefs and thoughts that come up that tell you that believing this new mantra is BS and a waste of time, because that will come up. Face these beliefs head on, because if you want to make progress in your life, if you want to really adopt this mantra, you have got to look at what's underlying you that's saying you can't own this belief because you know you're a screw up, or you know you've not been a financial success, or you know you've not been honest, or you know whatever, right? Say, here's what I want you to say. And I have come to become much better with this. I go, ego, back off. I'll believe you when I need to believe you. And the only time I'm going to need to believe you is when my life is actually threatened, when I'm really unsafe. Otherwise, this is my new mantra, so get the hell out of my way, back off. That's owning it, right? Because your ego is always going to try to make you safe, keep you small. And this mantra, boy, is that expansive, right? So take command of your thinking mind, your ego. The only time you need to listen to it is when you're in actual danger. Outside of that, it's just working to keep you limited. Now, the second strategy is something I love. I do it in my own life, and I advise and work with my clients on learning how to reframe things in your life. So this is reframing setbacks as redirects, okay? Right? So when challenges arise, I want you to ask yourself, what might this be teaching me? How could this be working in my favor? Now, that is a huge reframe. So if you're a negative Nelly and you don't allow yourself to consider how it could actually be working for you, and all you're focusing on is the fact that it didn't work out the way you wanted it to because everything never works out, I want you to ask yourself, how could it? And this shift can unlock new perspectives. Now, anytime you can become curious rather than convicted about your thoughts, it opens up a portal of potential change. When you become curious and take a moment to wonder, how could this experience be working in my favor? You take yourself out of where you are, out of your ego, out of your current belief system, and into your intuitive mind. And there is where you're always going to find the truth, because everything is always working out for you. And the last one is gratitude practice for the unexpected. Now, this is really cool. And sometimes it can be hard to get your energy behind this, right? So every night, I want you to write down one thing you're grateful for that didn't go as planned, but still worked out, right? Like maybe you went to a gas station, they didn't have your gas, but then you went to another gas station and there was money left on the meter, I don't know, and you got a couple of gallons free, right? This trains your brain to see the hidden gifts in life. So another example could be, I've had a long-standing lower back problem, okay? And I have a herniated disc and 2 bulging discs. And there's some days that my medication wears off and my back hurts me terribly. When I lay my head down at night, this is the truth. I always say how grateful I am for the medicine that takes away the pain, as well as this, I want you to hear this, as a body that can feel everything. Because there's some people whose bodies are paralyzed and they can't feel a thing. So I'm grateful that my body feels pain and feels relief of pain. Does that make sense? Here's another example. If I order something from Amazon and it comes a day early, or that person at the store was very helpful to me when I couldn't find what I needed, or just somebody was kind. Things like that. There's always something to be grateful for. And when you say, hey, I wonder what miracles are going to happen today. I wonder what miracles are going to happen. That's pretty cool. It opens up. It's like, okay, universe, send me the miracles because I'm so excited that they're here. They're coming. And I don't know what they are. It's like opening up a present, right? There's always something to be grateful for. And there's always unexpected good things that happen for you if you just choose to look for them. Now, there's a piece of this that I want to kind of drive home. And it's about radical acceptance. And radical acceptance, just really the bottom line, it's the foundation for this mantra. And it means acknowledging reality without resistance or judgment. It really is about it is what it is. You're not fighting it. You're not fighting the truth because there's a saying you can't argue with the truth. It is. So you can practice radical acceptance by taking deep breaths when anxiety or doubt creeps in. Okay, here's what I got to deal with. And you could say to yourself, this is what it is, and I can handle it. I may not know how right now, but I know that I've handled difficult things in the past. Acceptance doesn't mean you're okay with everything. It just means you're choosing peace over resistance. And this is so powerful when you're trying to make sense of things that don't make sense that happen in your life. And sometimes you just can't make sense of them. But that doesn't mean you can't accept them either. Radical acceptance is incredibly powerful because shit happens and you can't change the past. And the past can be a millisecond before this one. So giving yourself about 5 seconds to be frustrated, angry, and bothered, fine. But then shift into, okay, it is what it is. Now what can I do with what I have to help me use this to my advantage? That is a huge question to ask yourself. Now what can I do with what I have to help me use this to my advantage? Now, you may find the information, it comes to you quickly and you're like, oh my God, there you go. Or you may need to shelve the question after you've put it out to the universe and to your soul. Once you've asked it, and then you let the answer come to you when your focus is on something else entirely. Now, this mantra isn't about perfection or never doubting. It's about choosing over and over and over again to trust that life has your back. It's about choosing to become more powerful in your life. It's about choosing to see life as a forever teacher and you as the forever student. You're never not learning. Life is always going to push you to grow. You've just got to decide to accept the invitation or not. And if you don't accept the invitation, you're going to feel stifled and stuck and angry and shift into a battleground with life. And you don't want that. So take these 3 questions and these 3 strategies into your week and watch how your mindset and energy begin to shift. So if this episode resonated with you, share it with a friend. Leave a review. I love the reviews. Y'all have been so kind. Subscribe. Send this to somebody. The mantra of everything is always working out for me is so powerful. The same is true for I wonder what miracles are going to happen today. I wonder what miracles are going to happen today. Right? And it does work if you allow yourself to focus on what you truly want for yourself, to feel free, supported, and aligned with all that you need to be aligned with. I wish you a blessed day, a wonderful week, and as always, live intuitively.
Thanks for listening to The Intuitive Therapist. If you like what you heard, the best compliment you can give us is to share this podcast with a friend. And be sure to give us some stars and a favorable review at Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen in.